What's good, everybody? So, it's well, if you haven't heard, Spider-Man may not be along with MCU for much longer. Now, there was rumors. I don't know exactly rumors or not, but there was a saying that if Far From Home, if it made or if it made $1 billion, that they could do another. They would have another film. They originally had a 5 picture deal that they agreed with Sony. Sony owns the rights, and honestly, I think like Marvel slash Disney. I mean, they got all the money. They need if Disney's got the money to go buy Marvel, which they did, and they bought Fox, which honestly I think was kind of a bad move. I mean, it's cool because they got a lot of Spider-Man characters and or maybe not Spider-Man, but X-Men and stuff like that. Now, I think that it's this is ridiculous. It all comes down to money. That's all they care about is money. Now, from what it was saying, like they're trying to get like a 50-50 deal that Disney asked future Spider-Man films to be a 50-50 financing, which I think is fine because, I mean, if they're only getting 5% and Sony's getting 95% and they're putting up all the work to do these films and these films are coming out great and doing really good, like they're blowing up in the box office, you know, they're doing really good. So I can see why they would want, you know, more money out of that, getting 5% out of what they're making, and they're just kind of like pretty much they're just making Sony money, and Sony's like, hey, that's cool, like we're cool with the you guys getting 5%, and Disney's like, no, bro, we need more money than that. We doing all this work and we ain't doing nothing but lining y'all pockets, which I understand where they come from. So I think the 50-50 deal is reasonable. Like they're both partnered in it, even though Sony does own the rights to Spider-Man. Now, they are still in talks. Hopefully they can reach a deal. I honestly don't really, I don't think they're really going to reach a deal. I don't have high hopes for them reaching a deal or not. I don't think they're really going to. Sony wants to make all the money. Sony sees the, like, okay, Spider-Man, they brought out MCU, did Spider-Man, did excellent job. It's making a killing. It's making all the money right now. Okay, Spider-Man is popular again. Let's take it back so we can, you know, get some more of that action. Which, I mean, they're getting 95%. What more do you need? I mean, what's an extra 5% to you? You know what I'm saying? And, like, they're just, it's all about money with them. And Sony figures, well, Into the Spider-Verse did good. Venom did good. Which, Into the Spider-Verse was an excellent movie. Like, that was amazing. I loved it. Venom, however, I'm a huge Venom fan. I've been a Venom fan for years. And, I mean, he looked good. And I gotta say that Tom Hardy did an excellent job portraying him. But let's face it, it wasn't that good of a movie. They could have done a lot better with that movie. They kind of, I feel like they kind of did a lot of rushing and shit in the movie. But it's just like, they made it PG-13, which it should have been more of a rated R film, like Deadpool. Okay, now, I think, honestly, it would have been a lot better movie if they would have made it rated R. Tom Hardy said that there was a lot of stuff that was cut out of the film, which is probably why it was made into a PG-13, is why they cut the stuff out. Which, if you got a good movie, even though it may be rated R, like, I mean, look at Deadpool. Deadpool did great. Logan, excellent. Amazing. I couldn't say enough good things about Logan. That was rated R. That's how you do it. Sony just mad because Disney slash Marvel really, is took the character, like, okay, we'll borrow him and we gonna do it better. And they did. And so now Sony's like, oh, well, since you guys did that and we got a new face for Spider-Man, let's take him and bring him in with our Venom movie so we can make a Into the Spider-Verse live action, since Into the Spider-Verse did so well And Venom did so well, which I don't know why it did, but I mean, I can understand. It's the first time we see Venom on film, and I do think that Venom did look pretty dope to me. Although he didn't have his emblem on his chest, which I think that would have been a lot better if he would have had his emblem. But that's their directive. That's how they wanted to do it. Essentially, Sony made a decision that is similar to saying thank you, but we think we can win the championship without Michael Jordan. After all, Feige's first decade at Marvel is largely unblemished. I mean, look at all, 22, 23 films in the last 10 years, and they all did amazing. They all did really good. I mean, they started with Iron Man, which took off and really set the milestone for the Marvel movies to come. They built a foundation off of that. They built a base off that. I mean, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, and Peter Jackson hasn't been able to do anything that good without having anything run. I'm honestly... This is bullshit. Like, this is honest bullshit. It all comes down to money. Sony owns the rights. Sony don't want to give up any more of it. They want to keep the money. They want to make all the money they can off of it, and they don't want anybody else to get a piece of the action, which I don't really blame them to an extent because they do own the rights. Now, if Marvel wants to do their own thing, and they don't want Sony to be a part of it, which, between me and you, I don't want them to be a part of it either. We see, I mean, don't get me wrong, I did like the old school Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire. I liked him. I think those were really good. But the Andrew Garfield, it was okay. He didn't look like a Spider-Man, like the way Peter Parker should look. He was too pretty, a little too... he could have been like a jocker or more of a preppy guy. Peter, he's more of, the nerdy kind of guy, I think Tobey Maguire did a really good job as Spider-Man. It's actually one of my favorite Spider-Man films. I really liked his take on it. They did a really good job. And now it's up in the air whether MCU is going to have Spider-Man or not. Now, we don't even know if they're going to keep, if that happens and if Sony takes it back completely, we don't know if they're going to even keep Tom Holland, which I'm pretty sure they probably will because he's really popular and the kid does an amazing job as Spider-Man. He's like meant for that role. Not to mention that he does have a background in gymnastics, so he's able to do all them flips and tricks and stuff like that Spider-Man is known for. Let's see. So the thing says there have been a number. They've all of his movies, all of Feige's movies from the past 10 years. They've all been number one openers that have collectively grossed $26.8 billion. That is a lot of money, man. I mean, they deserve it. He did a really good job, man. Sony and Disney, they need to figure it out. Sony needs to stop being so damn greedy. I mean, honestly, I think Marvel just needs, not Marvel, but Disney. If Disney / Marvel really wants to do their own thing with Spider-Man, they just need to buy him out. They just need to buy him out from Sony, which I don't think Sony's going to let that go. That's a cash cow. They're not wanting to let that go. I mean, let's face it, Sony doesn't have the best record for movies lately. I mean, the best movie they have right now is Into the Spider-Verse, which is made the most money, even though the Spider-Man Far From Home actually is their highest grossing film to date, even though it's not completely them that did it. Marvel had their hand in it. But I mean, this is just, man, over 23 movies Marvel has done, and then they got to the Spider-Man stuff and they did really good. And now that they did the movies and everyone's like, oh man, this is amazing. And Sony's like, oh, we need a piece of that too. You know, we were nice and gave y'all 5%. And I don't blame Disney and them for like, nah, man, we did a lot of work on that. So I honestly feel like, of course, it's never going to happen like this, but 50-50, I don't see why they can't do it. Why can't you do 50-50? What's wrong with that? Sony just wants to keep all the money for themselves, which is bullshit, man. Like, this is ridiculous. It all comes down to money. And not to mention that Disney kind of needs the money, probably because they bought Fox, and I mean, we all know what happened with the latest X-Men movie. That just, it did really, really bad. Now, I can't really say personally because I never watched it and I sure don't plan on it, but it did really bad. And the actors are really good. I like it. Michael Fassbender, I think he does a really good young Magneto, as well as James McAvoy. Like, I think they are both excellent actors and just got handed a shit script. Sources say Disney's top brass for the past several months has sought new terms for Feige and the Marvel cross-pollination to continue. As the Spider-Man relationship grew, Feige and Sony Pictures chief Tom Rothman spoke about the possibility of a wider involvement in the Sony-controlled Spider-Man universe, which contains 900 characters, man. 900 characters. That's insane. It's understandable that the fiscally shrewd Rothman would balk at giving up half of Sony's biggest franchise to Marvel. Like I said, they don't want to give up that money. That's too much. That's a big cash cow for them. That's their best leading money. That's their best piece that they got right now. That is their leading front man right there, is Spider-Man. Marvel already owns the merchandising on Spider-Man. Does the mouse really need half the movie universe also? Sony so far has decided that as valuable as Feige is, Disney is asking too high of a price. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Like, they're putting in the work. I don't see why they don't do 50-50. If not, they just need to fucking buy them out. I mean, let's be honest here. If you really don't want Sony messing with what you're doing, then just buy the character out. Now, I think they sold it to them. Marvel sold Sony the rights to Spider-Man some years ago for like $7 million or something like that, I think it was. Now, I'm sure if Sony, which I highly doubt they want to give it up, now if they do, they're going to ask a really ridiculously high price, and I don't think Disney will want to put up the money because, let's face it, they put up all that money for Fox and just to do, and the Dark Phoenix just flopped. I don't blame them for not wanting to put up the money, but we need to do something because we need all the Marvel characters in the Marvel. We just got Fox, which is good because we got access to the X-Men characters and stuff now, even though we gotta wait a little while before we get some more X-Men because the last few X-Men, has left a really bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. Now, if they really cared about the fans, they would just either buy them outright or do the 50-50. But they don't care. It's all about money with these people. Sources said that Sony reasoned that they will be fine without Feige. I don't know what they're smoking, but they need to stop that shit. The creative template has been set on the Spider-Man films, and Watt and Holland are in place along with Amy Pascal, who became producer with Feige after she exited the executive suite after presiding over the previous Spider-Man iterations directed by Sam Raimi and Mark Webb as Sony Pictures chief. Sam Raimi movies were really good. I liked them. Sources note that Venom was a problem picture and far from the polished product that grossed $856 million wide. That's still a lot of money, man. Until Rothman himself spent a good long time in the editing room helping it to get there. I don't understand how Venom made that much money. It was not that good. The Venom sequel is well underway with Andy Serkis directing Tom Hardy, which I'm excited about that. That's my boy. And there is Morbius with Jared Leto, Kraven the Hunter, and another spin-off with the characters Silver Sable, and Black Cat. Oh, sorry. Just got off work. Long day. And a Sinister Six film that got shelved, which that's kind of shitty. Sony, which once felt the ticking clock of sorry, I can't talk. Sony, which once felt the ticking clock of generating a Spider-Man film every 3 or so years to prevent a rights reversion to Disney. Now has plenty of pictures to make, and the studio also won the Best Animated Feature Oscar for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, a smash hit they made their very own, which I'll take my hat off, which I don't have one, but I'll take my hat off to them. They did good with the Into the Spider-Verse, which I actually liked. That was a really good movie. But let's face it, Disney's not going to play ball with that shit. Sony don't want to play ball. They want to keep all the money, which I understand they got the rights, but they're not doing shit with it. They handed it over to Marvel for a reason because they weren't doing nothing with it. Now that Marvel has pretty much set the grounds and did all the groundwork for them, they're going to just bring it back and be like, oh yeah, well we're going to pull this back on over to our side of the line because you set the groundwork. Now we got all these movies that we can make since Spider-Man's popular again. So now we can go ahead and make another Into the Spider-Verse, but instead of being animated with a live action. Then you got, like they said, like I said, they got all them other movies in works so Sony's like, we're good. We don't need you. We got all these other movies, which honestly, I feel like the movies are probably not going to do very well. So hopefully they can come up with some kind of deal. If not, I don't really go see Sony movies anyways. I'm a Sony person. Like I like PlayStation. And that's about as far as I go with that. Sony movies have not been very good. And let's face it, lately movies just haven't really been that good lately. It's movies have been kind of terrible nowadays. They're really all they're doing is rehashing old stuff. I mean, I can't say much about Disney either because Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Dumbo, Lion King. Like, yeah, they made a lot of money, but that's because the original movies were so good. Like, Disney Pictures don't know what they're doing either. So, really, all they got is Marvel. Without Marvel, Disney really ain't got much going for themselves right now. So, I'm kind of like really upset about this. Like, this is really stupid. Hopefully they come up with some kind of deal and Marvel can do more Spider-Man films. If not, just buy them. Get it done over with. That way you got all your peoples in one jar and you can pick from. With that said, I'm going to get up out of here. Hope you guys are just as excited about this as I am. Joking. No. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. If you guys start boycotting Sony movies, I don't blame you because this is Sony just being greedy. And they think, oh, well, since Marvel did all the legwork, now we can come in and take over and make all the movies because off the work they laid, which is really ridiculous. With that said, I'm gonna get out of here. I hope y'all have a good rest of your night, and if I find out any more information about this, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Thank you for watching. You have a nice night.